Hello YouTube, today I'm at Spirit Ford and I am comparing my 2020 Ram 2500 Laramie Crew Cab to this 2021 Ford F350 Lariat. They both have 6.7 liter diesel engines, however mine has an inline 6 and this is a V8. This one does have the Tremor off-road package, so it does sit slightly higher, having I believe a 2-inch leveling kit and what seems to be 35-inch tall tires on the truck. There are some similarities in these trucks, obviously both same displacement 6.7 liter diesel engines. They both unfortunately have the CP4 fuel pump. I think GM actually switched from the CP4 to the Denso fuel pump, which is a superior diesel pump for the American market. This one, being a mega cab, does have room behind the rear doors. However, both of these trucks have a length from bumper to bumper of 249 inches. So I think it's 21 feet in total length, so very, very long vehicles. This one does share the same cab as the F-150, so even though the cab is technically a little bit smaller because there is no space behind the rear seats, you get a lot more leg room in this than you do this guy. So this one also does not have a transmission hump. My mega cab does have a transmission hump, but here's a quick little outside shot of both trucks. Both trucks have blacked out LED headlights as well as fog lights. This is the night edition, so it's going to give you color matched front and rear bumpers. It's going to give you blacked out badges, blacked out grille, as well as obviously blacked out headlights. I did throw some pretty deep dark tint on this vehicle, so there are some aftermarket modifications, as you can probably see. I opted to go with the 360-degree camera system, so I have a front-facing camera, I got mirror cameras, I've got a camera up top in the third brake light, and I got a camera right here in back. Again, blacked out taillights, badges as well, parking sensors front and rear. There is also a LED light bar right in there as well, which is pretty cool. I added a tonneau cover and I did get a spray and bed liner. This does have the Ram box system, which does give you storage over the rear wheels, which is very nice. It is LED bed lit, which is awesome. I opted for the Ram box system because I thought you still have a bunch of usable space in the bed. A lot of people complain that you lose space because of the Ram box system. However, I can still fit standard plywood and drywall in here. Just a couple days ago, I went and bought some 4x8 sheets of plexiglass, and they easily fit. I did, however, have to leave the tailgate down because they did come out a little bit more. This is not an 8-foot bed. Power sliding rear window. And that brings us over to this guy, 2021 F350. Again, it does sit a little bit higher, but it also has blacked out headlights, fog lights, blacked out grille, badges. Again, 6.7 Power Stroke versus a 6.7 Cummins. This one does have the power deployable running boards, as you can see. A little dirty, I live on a dirt road, sorry about that. This one does have the bed-lined running boards that are a little bit wider, and it makes getting in very easy. You have the signature Super Duty swoop right here. Both have the power adjustable trailer tow mirrors. A big difference between this truck and that truck. This truck is all aluminum. This truck is not. This truck has an aluminum hood, doors, and tailgate, while everything on this is aluminum. Also, this being an F350, you are going to have leaf springs on this one. That being a 2500, you are going to have coil springs. If you upgraded and got the 3500, you would also have leaf springs. I prefer the coil springs. It is a slightly better ride quality, and it's a little bit easier to lift aftermarket. It's a little cheaper, but you do lose some towing and payload capacity with coil springs versus the traditional leaf springs. So getting back to this truck, again, both diesels, absolutely beautiful. Mine does have some engine modifications and tuning. This one does not. This one from the factory does have more power than this from the factory. I think that one has 1,000 foot-pounds of torque if you get the 3500, and this one just has just over 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. However, for the 2021 model year, the Ram 3500 with the high output Cummins has more torque than this guy now. So the torque wars are just absolutely insane. Every year it seems like these companies are switching things up and pushing the boundaries on how much torque they're offering from the engines. So overall, the exterior on both are very nice. I'm a huge fan of the Tremor package. I love the blacked out accents on this guy, and I think it looks slightly more aggressive than my truck. However, the reason I got my truck at the time was because I love the interior. I love the Cummins engine. I'm a huge fan of the Cummins engine just from a maintenance standpoint. Typically, inline engines are a little more torquey. Again, almost same amount of torque with 2 less cylinders if you get the 3500. Inline engines are easier to work on. If I have an engine issue, I open up the hood and it's very easy to access everything. With this guy, if you have an engine issue, I think you actually have to remove the entire cab off the frame. So I went with the Cummins for that reason. Also, the oil change intervals, I believe Cummins has a class leading 15,000 mile oil change interval, while this guy is still recommended at about 10,000 miles. And if you own a diesel truck, you know the cost associated with oil changes as well as fuel filter changes. So it was kind of a no-brainer for me to go with this guy. With that being said, let's take a look at the engines on both. So starting off on the Cummins engine, because it is what I know, here is the Cummins engine, 6.7 liter turbo diesel again. As you can tell, I am missing some parts. It does make the vehicle quite more efficient, and it sounds a lot better too. I also have a aftermarket S&B cold air intake, but like I was saying, everything is very easily accessible. I got my oil filter right down there. I got the turbo right here. Over here, I have access to a fuel filter, which is right back in there. I have an aftermarket filtration system on here, so I don't really need to worry about that. And then right here, I have the problematic CP4 fuel pump, which I am hoping to upgrade to a either CP3 or a Denso system in the future. Again, very easy to access pretty much everything. Weirdly enough, this engine is a lot heavier than that engine. Having 2 less cylinders, still, for some reason, this is just a very, very heavy engine. Coming over here to the F350, here's the 6.7 liter Power Stroke engine. I don't know a whole bunch about this engine. I am more of a Cummins guy, but from the looks of it, this right here looks very similar to the emission system that was on the Cummins truck. I believe you have some crossover pipes right here. I actually believe this is the EGR piping, because I had a sensor very similar to that on the truck. So tons and tons going on in here. If something were to happen to this truck, there's no way I would be able to do anything myself. I'd have to take it into a shop. Even the alternators are underneath all this intercooler piping, so all that has to be removed if I need to fix something. So that's why I went with the Cummins engine. But with that being said, let's take a look at the interiors and compare both of them. So again, getting in, I do have the power deployable running boards on here, which come down far more than standard running boards mounted on the rocker panels. If you do end up lifting the vehicle, these are awesome. Getting in, again, very easy on both trucks. I'm gonna start the truck up for you. It is quite loud, and it probably will go into high idle because of the temperature. All right, so leather on both. The Ford, I believe, has the wood grain. This one kind of has this piano black, gloss black trim with suede accents. Again, the lighting in both is in relatively the same place. Up here we have your instrument cluster, tachometer on the left, speedometer on the right. And then you have the center LCD screen. Each of the four corners is a different parameter you can monitor, and you can change those from the settings, which you can access right over here. This one does have a heated steering wheel, no bolsters, but it is heated, which is very nice for a day like today where it's like 25 degrees out. Both have the premium audio groups. Carbon card, that one has B&O. We'll turn this guy off. There we go, so I don't have to hear that. This one does have the 12-inch touchscreen display, while the F-350 does not. I believe for 2021, the Ford F-150 either has like a 12 or a 15-inch screen, and it's not vertical, it's horizontal, which I prefer. But again, you know, 2020, that I got this, and the F-150 is at 2021. I also opted to have the upfitter switches in this truck. Personally, I prefer the Ford style upfitter switches because they're actually switches and they're located up here. This does have the power sunroof. It is not panoramic because this does not share the same cab as the current 1500 style trucks. It does have two glove boxes right here, which is LED lit, and then down here. There are a lot of similarities in this truck. I have a center armrest with it's double tiered right there. This actually is a configurable, movable center console, which I prefer. Wireless charging mat right there. Overall, the interior, the driver's seat and passenger seat on both are very similar. I have heated and ventilated seats, so does that one. But where things start to change is actually in the back. So this, again, being a mega cab, instead of the seats folding upward, they actually fold down, giving you a load flat floor. And as you can hear, the high idle has turned on the truck. So I'll try to talk up a little bit. But behind the seats, when they're folded up, you have storage in the floor, which is very nice. You got a bunch of grocery hooks and child car seat hooks as well. But again, there is the transmission hump on this guy. So not the greatest. I'm kind of not a fan of the transmission hump, and you get a little bit less leg room on this truck. So with that being said, and now that the truck is making a lot of noise, let's take a closer look at the So here's the F350, really nice wide running boards. I have a pretty big foot, makes getting in very easy. Grab handle right up top, and again, it is very similar to my truck. All the button layouts are in very similar spot. The instrument cluster is pretty much the same. You got tachometer on the left, speedometer on the right, and then a beautiful LCD screen in the middle. B&O audio right there. This unfortunately is the, I think it's 8-inch touchscreen display. I like my 12-inch just a little bit more. Again, dual zone climate control with ventilated and heated driver and passenger seats. This one also has a wireless charging pad. I do like my configurable center console, but I love that the Super Duties give you the option to have more cup holders. Just kind of a weird thing I particularly like. I also like the column shifter. I do not like the shifter right here. Honestly, I would actually almost prefer a rotary dial shifter over the traditional shifter right there. But again, leather seats. The Ram had the piano gloss black trim. This one has a wood trim. This one also has two glove boxes. Very, very nice interior, premium audio group. But again, the difference, one of the big differences, as you can see with the Mega Cab versus this, is, I mean, I have tons and tons of leg room in here, and this has a load flat floor. So if I do have items I want to transport in the cab and not the bed, I can put them in here and not have to worry about them teeter-tottering over the transmission hump. And another difference is these seats fold up versus Rams that fold down. And the cab length is a little bit different. The cab on that's longer, however in this you get more leg room, which brings us to the bed. My truck has the Ram box system. This one does not. Obviously it's a Ford, it doesn't have Ram box. But if you look, look at how far over that wheel well goes, right? So realistically, if you're going to be putting in plywood, drywall, plexiglass, 4x8 standard sheets, you can still fit them in here. It's going to be fine because they'll fit between the wheel wells. The only space you really lose with the Ram box is right here, but I don't really see a lot of people putting much of anything in those spots. This one does have more cargo space because it doesn't have a cargo management system like my truck. But my truck also does have the capability of fitting a standard size quad in the back, as well as, like I previously said, the plywood, drywall, and plexiglass. So another difference, this does have a bed step, mine does not. Overall though, I love the color of this truck. I love the Velocity Blue, the Leadfoot Gray, the Flame Red, I believe, if Ford still has it. If I would do it all over again, I would probably get my truck in Velocity Blue, which is actually very similar to this truck. But again, very, very capable trucks, both of them. I'm planning on lifting mine in the near future. This one already has a level and I think 35s on it. They are both very, very awesome trucks. If you're in the market for either of these two trucks, I will be putting some contact info in the description below on where you can get them. I currently am at Spirit Ford, located in Dundee, Michigan, and they've graciously allowed me to come to their lot and do a video walkthrough of this vehicle. And then my truck I actually got somewhat locally at Pinckney Dodge Jeep Ram. I will be posting the contact info in the description below. Both of these dealerships have worked with me in the past. They are very nice people, both of them, and they will give you the best deal they possibly can on either of these trucks if you're interested. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving me a like and a share. And in the comment section, tell me what truck you prefer, even if it's a GM or a Chevy over these two, and why. What are your favorite features of those trucks? And what one would you actually end up buying? So again, if you enjoyed the video, please consider giving me a like and a share. Comment below, and I will be posting all the contact info in the description below. Like always, thanks for watching, and have a great day.